Don't say any longer, I'm not ready. Don't say anymore, I don't have the whole plan. Don't say any longer, I don't have the money. Refuse to say, I don't know anyone who's doing what I want to do. I don't have a mentor, I don't have a coach. Stop saying I don't have the gifts. Get in there and make it happen. Stop making excuses. Put that as one of the big rocks into the jar of your life first. Daniel stopped making excuses. The second statement that I see emerge from the text, and you can begin to look at it from verse 8. It says, Daniel resolved not to defile himself with the royal food and wine, and he asked the chief official for permission not to defile himself this way. Now, God had caused the official to show favor and sympathy to Daniel, but the official told Daniel, I'm afraid of my lord the king, who has assigned your food and drink. Why should he see you looking worse than the other young men your age? The king would then have my head because of you. Verse 11. Daniel then said to the guard whom the chief official had appointed over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days. Underline those words, 10 days. That's where we get the 10-day Daniel fast. Please test your servants for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearance with that of the young men who eat the royal food, and treat your servants in accordance with what you see. So he agreed to this and tested them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, they looked healthier and better nourished than any of the young men who ate the royal food. So the guard took away their choice food and the wine they were to drink and gave them vegetables instead. Let's stop there. Question, how do you translate first things first into your life? Answer number 2, resist the pull of mediocrity. Now, Daniel, verse 8 says, resolved not to defile himself with the king's food. So we understand there's a twofold reason why he chose not to eat that kind of food. One was a spiritual reason. In other words, the Babylonians, and particularly the king, would first have sacrificed the meat to the Babylonian gods, would have given the wine as an oblation first, offering it up to God, to their gods, as an act of worship. And so Daniel, based on Levitical laws, knew that doing that and eating food that was offered to idols is in a way that it keeps you and establishes a spiritual disconnectedness with you and God. It affects his conscience, and he did not want to do that. His second reasoning was, this food is far too sumptuous. It's too rich. It's not allowing me to function properly, physically, medically, from a dietary perspective. I can't keep eating this stuff. And so, in what way did he resist the pull of mediocrity? Mediocrity is a fancy word to simply mean pedestrian, run-of-the-mill, undistinguished, commonplace, everyday. I don't know about you, there were other young Jewish men, apart from Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Daniel, who were recruited to go into the academy, the royal academy. And the Bible infers that when you look at verse 6, 7, and 8. But yet, none of those other Jewish boys spoke up, or it bothered them that they were defiling themselves spiritually, or not at their best physically and nutritionally and medically, because they were mediocre. They were everyday, run-of-the-mill, undistinguished. They didn't want to be on top of their game. And Daniel recognized that it is a sin to be good when God has called you to be great. And unless those words pulsate in your vein, you're going to feel the pull of mediocrity bringing you into its clutches. Have you ever played that game, tug of war? It's when you may find a number of people, equal amount on the one side of the rope, and then another people on the other side of the rope, and they pull, and there's a flag in the middle between the two groups, and they try to pull the flag onto one side to say, we're stronger than you are physically. And so here's on one side of the rope, mediocrity, commonplace, undistinguished, everyday, pedestrian, run-of-the-mill. And here it is pulling you into its clutches. You know why? Because it's far easier to be mediocre than it is to be excellent. And it's not just my words. The Scripture, when it defines sin, it gives us several definitions. Because there are different kinds of sins or wrongdoing. James 4 verse 17 defines it this way. Everyone who knows what is the right thing to do and doesn't do it commits a sin. So it's not just about morality, ethics, or spiritual behavior. It's about you choose to live in the mediocre and the good rather than excelling to be the great. Why? Because it's easier to be mediocre.